Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Hey everyone, welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Mac,
I'm Pepper.
And I'm Zach.
and today we are recapping our letter B gameplays. If you've been following along, we are doing an alphabet soup of a
As you call it.
challenge this year. We were playing through our collection letter by letter, and we have finally finished the B's. So we're just going to do a recap and let you know whether or not the game is staying on our shelf or if it's going to be off our shelf and called.
Mm-hmm.
So we had 13 games. The first one that we played was Blitzkrieg.
Yes. So when you say we,
When I
you're
say
using
we,
that term pretty lightly.
Yes, I mean Zach and
Loosely.
Jesse for this game.
Yes, it is a two-player game that is pretty much tug of war the board game. Because you have different spots where you are battling, and just kind of trying to win control of that area. So it's very tug of war feeling.
Yes.
Two-player only game? I don't think there's any variants.
Two-player only.
Mhm.
I did not see any variants other than a solo variant. But yeah, this says World War II in 20 minutes, and you can easily play it in that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, it was new to both of us, and I think we definitely think it's a keeper. And hopefully, I'm hoping that when you eventually try it, you will like it, because I think it would be one because it's not overly long. It's nothing like overly complex about it. Just a fun game, different feeling than some of our other ones.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. Have to see what your thoughts are eventually.
All right.
It'll probably be on the call list, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. Okay, so our next game is Bunny Kingdom.
Wow, this is another one that someone ended up not playing. Getting
Okay,
out of playing.
let's be fair though. We
Mackie.
did just complete a 10 by 10
That
with
is
this
true.
game on it. So it was played
Mackie,
10
come
times
on.
last year. I didn't play it all 10 times either.
I was gonna say, how many of the last 3 or 4 times were you involved in those
Yes.
games? This one's one that surprisingly I think like everyone in our group really likes except you.
I wouldn't say I don't really like it. I just
You don't love it like
I don't
us.
love it like the rest of people. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
fine playing it most of the time, but
Yeah, I would say this, I believe, was my number 3 when we did our top 50 of all time. So
Mhm.
pretty easily, I think this will be my favorite B game.
Hmm. Yeah, I think Abby said it was probably her favorite one of the ones she's played of ours. So, and this one's, I think it's right up there for possibly my favorite. It's definitely the one I think I've played the most.
Yeah.
So, I got to give it that, but it may be tied with another one that we'll talk about eventually.
Ooh.
It's kind of, I think it's dependent on the situation of what kind of game I'm wanting to play.
Yeah. So that is a keep, I assume?
Yes.
yeah, I doubt that's leaving our collection anytime soon.
How many times have you played the expansion for that one?
Probably like 4 or 5 times now.
No, I wasn't sure if maybe it kind of once we got the expansion, you just didn't really play it anymore.
No, I've played it with the expansion. So.
I couldn't remember.
All right, next up is Barrier Battles. This is a flicking game where you're building a castle with the pieces they provide you, and then you have these little discs that you're flicking to try and break the castles or get
break
their
your finger.
break your finger and hit their other little discs or warriors out so that you can get to their king or get their king off too. So tell us about this game, Zach.
This is another one that you did not end up playing.
Yeah.
This is another 2-player game. I think if you got 2 sets of it, you could probably play it 4 players.
Ooh, juicy.
But yeah, I think this one was created by either like a couple of high school students or college students as an assignment.
K-pop game.
Some project that they had worked on. So they'd sent me a copy, so I tried it out, and it's definitely an interesting game. Don't have too many flicking games in our collection, but yeah, and you played it for the first time.
Yes.
This
yes, I
time we
did.
played it.
I had been anticipating it just because it had been so long for me to actually play it, and it was about as expected. It was fun if you're looking for that flicking chaos.
Mm-hmm.
That flicking chaos. But yeah, it does hurt the finger a little
Keeping it
bit.
clean.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't mind this being called, really, but
Mm-hmm.
I think there's other places where we can get the experience, but at the same time, I enjoy coming back to this every now and then.
Mm-hmm. Because I think the other one we have is Sonora, and I think I prefer that one
And Ice
over this
Cool.
one. Yeah, we have Ice
Yeah.
Cool as well, and I think I might prefer those two over. Although the Ice Cool one I think hurts your finger a lot more than this does.
Yeah.
Those are weighted penguins.
Right. But yeah, so I think we may try to see if a friend likes this one or would like to take this one off our hands. Otherwise, we might possibly cull it. But
Yeah.
at the same time, if it doesn't leave our collection immediately, I don't think it's
Doesn't
not like
take up that
yeah,
much
It
room.
doesn't take up that much room, and it's not one that I actively despise
Yeah.
playing.
Unlike this next one, which is Blossoms.
Looks growing just like the flowers.
So both the boys, I think, would like to cull this game from our collection. However, I would like to hold on to it for maybe just a little longer. There might come a day when it's culled, but for now, it doesn't take up that much room on the shelf, all things considered.
Another 2-player game.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So you are, you're making flowers grow essentially in different pots and trying to get sets and, card collection, I guess, of
Set
different
collection,
types. So it's kind of push your luck. Nothing, super exciting about it, which is probably why you guys don't like it. But it was one of the first ones that Zach had gotten for us to play, just thinking it would be nice. It's really pretty. So a little bit of nostalgia holding on to it. We don't pull it out as much as we used to, but I like to have it in the collection. It's kind of nice to bring to new gamers ever,
Yeah, and I think the thing for me is that I was kind of disappointed by it. I was kind of expecting a little bit more. I don't think there's that many decisions to be made in the game with the press your luck aspect of it. But I do like press your luck as a mechanism, and also that since it was 2-player only, I tend to try to look for some of those since that's what our main player count is. But I think I was just a little disappointed by it, and that's kind of what's kind of knocked it down on my list a bit with plays. But I think I believe this one, and Between Two Castles, we both have videos out
Yep.
on. So if you want to check those out, definitely, we'll try to link them below, I think. So.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Between Two Castles.
Oh, spoiler!
Magic.
For some reason, I thought we'd already
Ludwig.
talked about it.
No, we haven't.
No, I spoiled it.
Why would you think we've already talked about this game?
It's not even on. Follow along.
Whoops.
Yeah. So this is actually my
This is
favorite.
not a 2-player only game.
No, it is not. You have to have a minimum of 3, I think.
Well, there's variants, but
yeah. This is actually my favorite B game, and part of this is just, at first I didn't know, it was a little overwhelming. I didn't know if I really liked it, but as we played more, it's really grown on me, and I just really love it. You get to build 2 castles with one with one neighbor, one with the other, and you're choosing tiles to make rooms, and it's really just cool how it all works together, and I really enjoy it. So it's a keep for me, bud.
Yeah, this one's definitely a keep for me as well. It's a really, really beautiful game, and I love that. I love when a game either, like if you have a bunch of cards when they're all different, or in this case, this one has a ton of tiles and they're all different rooms. I really love when they do that, and they have the names on all the rooms as well. It's just
and a great storage solution too for all of those tiles.
Yes, so I think this one's a really great package. I think I'd call it a little bit of a filler game, but it could be kind of, if you did have like 7 people, this could be kind of, it could be the bigger game of the night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like it as well.
Yeah. I mean, it has been the main event of one of our not-so average board game tournaments.
That is true. And was it in 2 of them?
It was in 2
It's
of
the
them,
only
yeah.
game that's been in 2 of the tournaments.
Nice.
So what does that say about it? Pretty good.
Yeah, we just have high player counts, I think. All right, next up is a game that not me, that those 2 played together, and that is Book It.
The Pro Wrestling Promoter card game.
Yes. So, as you can maybe tell from the cover, it's talking about pro wrestling. it is a game based on kind of booking the shows of a wrestling promotion. So we kind of got this one more based off of the theme versus versus maybe the mechanisms and hype around the game, because I don't think I've heard that many people talk about it outside of people that just talk about it based on the fact that they were fans of that theme, and we're looking for kind of a game. And I think I really liked it based on the theme. This was the first time we had played this one. This is new to us. But I think if I was looking for a game that had solid mechanisms and I didn't care for the theme personally, I don't know that I would recommend it as that, because I think there's a few things in it that aren't maybe the greatest. But overall, if you're looking for a wrestling themed game, I think this one is really perfect for that, because it does feel like that to me.
Yeah, I agree with it. If there wasn't a theme attached to it, it probably would get called sometime in the future, maybe not immediately, but just with that theme that really does come through, I'd say this is a keep for sure.
Oh, brother.
What?
All right.
You gonna play that one eventually?
Well, I'm good. I'm going to have to, right?
No.
All right.
A lot of these you're gonna have to play.
I know. Well,
Yeah,
some of
just
these
a couple.
some of these were new as of Christmas.
That's true.
So
But this one you did play new.
I did after like a year of having it, and that is Barenpark, and I loved it.
Ooh, loved it.
It's a polyomino game, which I'm a sucker for. They know this, so they get these things because they know. And it has bears on it. I mean, it's called Barenpark, but like bears everywhere, and I love bears, so it really works out really well there. So it's just really cute and cool, and I'm excited that I played it and that we're going to keep it in our collection.
It is very quick.
It is
Yeah.
very quick, snappy turns. I really enjoyed it as well. This would be a keep for me.
Yeah, this was I think second or third time I had played it, but I had been wanting to get back to it at some point, especially since I was hoping you would like it. But yeah, it just never really came up. But that's what a challenge like this is all about, kind of getting to some of those games that maybe aren't like the first choices or are otherwise sometimes hard to just try to get to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, solid game.
All right, next up, the opposite of bears, we have beans.
Bears,
Beets.
beans.
Battlestar Galactica is next. Not.
And that is Bohnanza.
That's right, Battlestar Galactica is a game.
It is.
Cookie
Oh,
wants
Cookie.
some beans.
Oh, the beans.
She's dying to get some beans here.
Yes,
Come
Cookie.
here,
What do you
Cookie.
have to say about Bohnanza, Cookie?
She's like, I like how long it took you to play it.
But yeah, this one is one that I think we hadn't played it in probably over a year, I think. But it's mainly because, like I said, we play a lot of two-player games. You can
Yep.
probably tell that by a lot of our other B games. But this one, I think, plays a lot better at a higher player count, like 3 to 4. I don't know if we've played it at... It looks like it has a 7-player count. I don't think we've ever played that high.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
But yeah,
We might have.
it's typically one that you play with more players, so it was fun to be able to get it back to the table because it's one of those that we've had for quite some time. And I think it is a very solid like trading game and negotiation, and yeah, just the way the set collection works is very unique, and it's an Uwe Rosenberg game. I think it's he has Patchwork, right?
Yep.
I think he probably has some other simpler ones too, but I think this is the only simple one we have of his. The other ones are all kind of the larger games of his, so
Will be coming up on future letters.
yes.
But yeah, I really love this game. It's just one that we don't play that often for some reason. I don't know if I've even played it 10 times.
Yeah.
I'm probably sitting maybe a little under that number, which is a shame because I really love the game.
Yeah. It's great. I love the little bean art. So much fun. All right, next up is Brass Birmingham.
And when I was talking earlier about a game that would otherwise be my favorite B game, this was the one. So I guess it kind of depends on if I'm in a mood to play a heavier strategy game, or if I want more of the lighter, quicker, not quite as thinky now that I've played it so many times, Bunny Kingdom. I think they're both kind of my top B games together. But yeah, this was one that I hadn't been able to play for quite some time since my last play. And it was the one that was the last B game we got to. And it took like a week or so after we kind of got done with the rest of the B games because it's quite intimidating to the rest of the people I play with.
It's not really one I want to play after 8 hours of work, so that's why it probably took a little longer.
That's understandable.
Yeah, it's a little intimidating. But I feel like once I get to know it more and more, I think this will be one that I don't really have a problem playing because I did really enjoy it once we got into the gameplay. Once we got it to actually playing the game correctly, we made a few rules errors, probably you'll say, because we don't play it with them as often.
It is because of that, and then just the fact that I think I thought I remembered this kind of stuff, and we kind of tried to get into it really quickly, type of thing. So then we missed it, but like along the way, you guys had asked these questions, and then I immediately knew. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, because and there were just a couple things.
It made it like a legacy game. You just add little bits
little
throughout
rules.
the game.
Yeah.
But
no,
I think we'll be keeping this one.
I think it just needs continuous play. It probably should have been on the 10x10 last year, honestly, because I think it's one of those games where you have to play it to learn it. It's not really I'm not saying I wanted it there. I'm
Pour
just
this
saying,
alphabet soup down the drain.
I'm just
10
saying,
by 10.
you know how like you get better at games the more you play them. This is one that requires that studious enterprise of multiple plays. So
yeah, that's understandable. I don't know that we would have gotten it played, but yes, I know what you're saying.
Okay.
It's one of those that definitely takes multiple plays too.
Yes. Thank you.
Because there's those little things in there that are a little harder to remember. Because
And overall, yeah.
All
right. Well, next up was Bob's
that is
Burgers.
when you're looking at how heavy the games are. We're taking a drastic fall after Birmingham.
Yes, we made just as many rules mistakes while playing this as we did Press. But yeah, this is a game that I actually won from a Dice Tower giveaway, which was pretty cool, but at the same time it was like, I don't know if this Belcher family food fight is really the game for us, but we actually got it played, and it's a lot funner than I ever expected.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
I mean, if that sounds fun, then that's exactly what you're going to get. You're throwing food and ingredients at your opponents and trying to be the first one to get rid of all of them. Yes.
Right. You're not actually throwing it directly at them, but
in
their little
in their
plate.
direction.
Sometimes it gets to be.
Yeah, sometimes they kind of just fly all over the place, but it's just a really quick, fast-paced thing where you're just trying to get rid of all. You each have a platter, and you're trying to get rid of all your ingredients by rolling dice, and it's a lot funner than I would have ever imagined.
Yeah, and it's heightened by the fact that you get to yell butts at the end of it when you win the food fight. So
and when you cheat to win, Mac.
Yeah. Any comment?
I won fair and square.
The last one you did.
It's first to 3, and she won the first 3.
I won the first 2.
Only one of them legitimately.
I won the first 2 questionably, according to your rules, and then I won the third consecutive game as well, according to your rules. So, champ.
Wow. Now we're getting back to the ones that you did not play.
Yes.
But this one was also somewhat new to us, totally new to you.
Yep.
My somewhat second game, Beyond the Sun. This was one that I had played on Board Game Arena once, and I sort of played it. I misunderstood. I had quickly skimmed over the rules because I was just so excited to play it. Because I think it was like kind of on some of the Dice Tower top picks and nominated for some of the award things that they had. So I was just really excited to try it because it sounded like it was right up my alley. But I had made a few rules mistakes, so didn't really have a chance in the game and didn't get to really take advantage of what really makes the game great. But in this play, I definitely got the whole experience because we played it a little more correctly. We may not have gotten everything right, but I'm assuming we got most of it right this time.
I won, so we got it 100% right.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a little worried getting into this. It seemed like it might be a little too hard for me, but is a lot more straightforward than I thought it'd be, and I really enjoyed it. So for me, this is a for sure keep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one
It
for
is
me
new,
as well.
and we probably wouldn't get rid of it anyway. But
Right.
yeah, I think you might actually like it, Mac.
We'll have to see. Our
Put it
new-
on the 10 by 10.
10 by 10 with brass.
Yeah.
Brass beyond the sun.
Well, our
Blitzkrieg.
recent space games that we've gotten have all been pretty kind to me, so hopefully this one doesn't break that streak.
We will have to see.
All right. Next up
Ooh, boy.
is Broom Service.
The card game. So
The Kartenspiel.
the Kartenspiel.
Das Kartenspiel.
Yes, I ended up getting this one on Miniature Market. I think they had it for sale for pretty cheap, and I had thought that it was the Broom Service game, not the card game, which I'd heard some decent things about. But this one I think is kind of even smaller than that. Because I think the original one, is it a card game as well? I can't remember.
I think so, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but so then I think we played this one, I don't know how long ago before when I
Maybe
first got it.
last
Yeah.
summer, I think.
Yeah, it's probably been about a year, or however long, since we last played it. And I know it was just us three, and I think at the time, even after we played it, we could have probably just said, let's just call this one immediately, because it wasn't as exciting as I was hoping for. But then we got back to it. We figured that's part of this thing too. Our challenge is just seeing if there's any games to call, giving them kind of one last chance.
Yeah, lifting that arm up like in wrestling. And
Seeing if it drops. And we played a 4-player version of it this time, and it actually, I felt like it was better than the first time, so I don't know if maybe we just needed more players in it to make it a little bit better. It still wasn't like anything spectacular, because there were still some things that just kind of, I don't know, seem like it just plays itself almost.
Yeah.
So I think I could see us culling this one, but at the same time it's a smaller game, so I'm like, could maybe try it again with even more players and see if that changes it at all. But
yeah, it's gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm okay if we keep it, but I'm also fine if we call it as well.
I think there are just so many other games that I'd rather play
Yeah.
before this one.
right,
So,
yeah.
not that it's a bad game, it's just not better than others.
Yeah.
All right, our last one. Between Two Cities.
Between Two Cities, another Stonemaier game, similar to the Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Actually ended up getting this one during our challenge, during us playing the bees, because I saw there was this token in Between Two Castles for $7 off of this game on the Stonemaier website. And later on this year, we plan on doing a Stone Timber in September, just to celebrate 10 years of Stonemaier games, and I figured it would be good to kind of have all the games so we could really get to play them some more, and because we want to make a video every day in September, which is going to be a little daunting, but we're gonna take on. We've accepted the challenge.
Gonna try it out. Huh?
But yeah, having getting access to all the games was something like we can do it, and we really, as you can tell, we really love Between Two Castles, and I would say this one ended up it has very, very similar feel, but it's almost like a simpler version of it, with kind of a little less going on, I would say.
Yeah. I still prefer Between Two Castles, but yeah.
Cool. I haven't played it yet, so I'm excited to try it.
I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's everything for our B list here. We are currently like 8.5 games into the C list. So making our way downtown.
That leaves us about 30 games in C.
So C
A
might
big
have
letter.
to be a two-part event there.
Yeah,
We'll
maybe.
have to see.
I guess, what did you think of B overall, as a letter?
Well, to be fair, I didn't play like
That's
half
true.
of the games,
That's
so
true.
I don't have a good recommendation. Or, I mean, I don't have a good rating. I would say overall, the games I do like,
Yeah, I feel like the
I
ones you
like.
did play, you really liked.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point of why I played some of them. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I would say as a letter, it's a pretty strong letter overall for me.
Yeah.
I would say it's maybe in the 8.25 range.
Yeah, I'd say
Maybe even higher.
from 8 to 9, somewhere in that range. It's got a lot of top games and some really solid ones as well.
Yeah, and I think they're all very, very different
Yeah.
feeling.
I don't think I even
Outside
realized.
of Between Two Cities and Between Two Castles.
I don't think I really realized how many B games we actually had. Not that it's all that many, I guess, compared to the C games, but I guess when you put them down on paper.
Yeah, I didn't realize how many. Because yeah, it's about the same amount as the A games, right? We
Yeah.
had like 11 or something.
Yep.
But yeah, C, we've got about 3 times as many. But it's our highest populated letter.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you made it this far and you liked our B recap, definitely give us a like. If you want to see additional letters, like when we finally get to those C's.
And follow along with our alphabet soup.
Yeah, if you want to follow along, definitely subscribe and hit the notifications. Otherwise, you can go back and check out our A game recap, to see kind of what we had in the A's. If we ended up calling anything, spoiler, there might have been a top 100 Board Game Geek rank of all time game that may be leaving the collection. So maybe you want to check that out. But otherwise, we hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to
Keep on nibbling.
on our alphabet soup.
Content.